Welcome everybody to Universal Month. Well, today I'm taking a break away from family films to take a look at a action drama film. It was released in 2017 and I found the best movie, but we'll talk about that. That is Tom Cruise in American Made. Let me get this. I hope you can see me. Can you see me? Okay, there we go. I wanted to kind of show you the full me. But anyways, Tom Cruise in American Made. This was great. This is the reason... Let me back a little bit. Yeah. This is a reason... Excuse me. This is a reason why I miss this Tom Cruise. It is a fantastic film. It's my favorite. But anyways, let's actually talk about American Made. Tom Cruise plays a drug smuggler by the name of Barry Seal. He's a guy who basically has a bunch of different jobs. Some say he works as a pilot. Some say he's a CIA guy. Some say he works at the White House. And this chronologics the whole way through from 1978, I think, going into the 80s. But anyways, I love this movie. Everything about it is awesome. To be honest, Tom Cruise, I think this is probably his best performance. I put in the top tier with Collateral, which was also my favorite Tom Cruise performance. This is the kind of thing I miss about Tom Cruise. Is he not doing the crappy action films like the Mission Impossible movies and stuff like that? He actually is acting, and he really, really shows it there in this movie. I think it works well. So, back to what I was going to say. He's also a drug smuggler. He basically sends drugs to Nicaragua. There's a lot in this film about him back and forth to Nicaragua, from delivering drugs to guns. If you're familiar with the whole story, eventually later in the film, we get a glimpse of President Reagan. He mentions how President Reagan was this action star. We needed a commander-in-chief, somebody who leads the way. Well, it turns out he eventually in the film shows he goes into hot water because it eventually happens, the craziness happens. So he's friends with the Nicaraguans and he's friends with people, I forget a couple of them, including Pablo Escobar. If you know who Pablo Escobar is, some of you youngsters probably don't know. Pablo Escobar was one of the few men, I think he was part of the FBI's Most Wanted, if I'm not mistaken. But he's sort of like just the craziness. This was directed by Doug Lerman. Lemon. He directed Edge of Tomorrow or Live, Die, Repeat, as it should have been called. So, yeah. The cast also includes Domhnall Gleeson, Sarah Wright Olsen, Jesse Plemons. He was the actor who was in the TV series Friday Night Lights. He plays a cop in this. And Caleb Landry Jones. I don't know who those other ones. I know Tom Cruise and I know the other guy. So yeah, he's also an expert pilot, so he basically racks in a lot of this cash every single time. Well, it turns out somebody decided to submit somebody from the White House submit a photo to Reagan, and then he would get in on the action on Nicaragua, forming the Iran-Contra scandal. Some of you youngsters don't know, but I'm not going to get deep into it. They do mention about him being an actor, which is kind of funny because this is a Universal film, and in the movie they talk about the film Bedtime for Bonzo, which was put out by Universal Nationals, which was Universal Pictures. If you watch a lot of the Woody Woodpecker cartoons, they were from the Universal National era. But Universal, as I said before, there's a whole backstory to why they called that. We're not going to get into it because I'm talking about the film. I'm just moving up a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Okay. I kind of wanted to get a better view, but I'm not going to keep messing with that. But anyways, interesting fact. At the beginning of the film, we see the Universal logo It's like do 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 do, and then morphs into the 70s, 80s Universal logo. I do like that. All those logos go authentic. Like Image goes into, like, once that drop falls, it forms into the 80s. So we morph from 2017 Universal logo to 70s, 80s Universal. I think 84. I think it was the 80s logo. But instead of the whole an MCA company, she says Comcast company. Universal's really cool when they did that. House with the clock against the walls. House with the clock against its walls. I think that's telling me. I don't know. It shows the Universal error from E.T. But I'm not going to get into that because we're not talking about that. I'm talking about this. Is there anything I don't like about this? Is there any negatives with this film? I'm not a fan of the shaky cam. They tried to do the whole shaky cam a little bit. It just bugs me. Let's just say in the film, craziness ensues and karma comes back to the guy. I'm not going to give away the ending because it's unexpected. Just some craziness. This kind of reminded me a little bit. They got the year right. The problem I had with a film like BlacKkKlansman, we'll get to that later, but I'm just going to say right now, in the film BlacKkKlansman, it takes place in 73, but in reality, it was 78, 79. But we'll get to that soon when I get to it. We're not going to review that. We're back to this. Yeah, I'm just rambling about this. Like I said, Tom Cruise's performance, although they use a little too much, Nick used a little too much Reagan, and they use a little too much of Nicaragua. And yeah, that kind of did bug me. So I forgot about this guy right here. This guy right here, I'll zoom up a little bit. This guy right here is also his buddy who helps him. He gets him his own garage and his own plane. So, like I said again, he's a pilot, but he also does other things. Is there anything else that I missed in this film? He's also a devoted father, but the wife isn't pleased because midway through the film, this isn't giving away the film, midway through the film, they're watching President Reagan on television when all of a sudden, Nicaragua, he's attacking Nicaragua. Reagan's connections with Nicaragua form that, but I'm not going to get into that much. So the wife sees him and sees that photo because the White House submitted it to him because of those people with Nicaragua. It's just crazy. But yeah. In terms of special features, we get deleted scenes, American storytellers, the real Barry Seal, which is a featurette all about Barry Seal, but I didn't watch the whole thing of that. Shooting American Made and Flying High. So, I guess that means final verdict is you must absolutely see American Made. This is one of my favorite films I watched this year. Out of the two movies I watched, this and probably Rocky and Bullwinkle were my two favorite I watched this month. Fantastic film. Hey, oh sorry, my mom's home. But anyways, yeah, but don't mind that. But I'll try to get her into a review someday. But like I said again, American Made, the greatest Tom Cruise movie. It's better than him. Excuse the language if your kids are hearing. It's better than the bullshit Tom Cruise films like The Mummy, the reboot of The Mummy, which also came out that same year. Also, him doing more Mission Impossibles, him doing the stupid action stuff. I miss this Tom Cruise. He's going back to Collateral, War of the Worlds, Jerry Maguire. Those are the Tom Cruise I like. Rain Man, Born on 4th of July. I didn't see Born on 4th of July, but I might cover that someday if you guys want me to. Stuff like that is what I miss about Tom Cruise. He's just doing action. Scientology or not, he's freaking fantastic, and this is why he should have got the Oscar for this type of film. It is so good. Just, wow. Also, another thing is, it says on the DVD right here, based on a true lie, which, yeah, it is a lie, but when the film begins, it says based on a true story, and this is 100% accurate. Although one funny scene is he crashed the plane and he's all smothered with cocaine. I think you're crack cocaine. So he finds two children out there. He's like, I'm going to give you some money. Here you go. How you doing there, girly girl? Something like that. Or how you doing, beautiful? He takes kid's bike. He gives them like, he gives them $6,000, something like that, basically for the bike and just to keep their mouth shut because and say, "You didn't see me." I was howling like a fool. It is really good. So I'm rambling. See American Made. Don't sleep on this film. See this movie. It's so good in any way possible. I recommend it. Highly recommend you see this film. And I might even watch this again myself because it's that good. But yeah, that's my review of American Made. But it is going to be a double feature, so come back next time. Not next time, but come back later today or whenever I make the next video. And it's going to be another action film. And I'll give you a hint. It's going to be a remake. A remake that I've never seen. See you then.